Hey guys, this is Johnny and Christina.
Christina.
So we're doing a very special episode. We're doing a Q&A with all of the people who wrote in about what our life has been like here in Sri Lanka, but also what our life was like before Sri Lanka.
Yes.
So big question number one is uh, how long have we been here?
So I'm here almost for 1 year. I arrived like at the beginning of December last year.
Yeah, so almost exactly 1 year. I was here since February. And I guess question number two that a lot of people have been asking is how long did we plan on staying for and did we get stuck here? And the answer is kind of yes. I was only planning to stay for 2 months, but we're still here now. And Christina,
So I'm half stuck because my original plan was to stay during 3 months, and I already had a ticket to Thailand. I have already bought it, but at very first days, like first weeks in Sri Lanka, I decided just to skip it, just to leave this ticket, and to stay in Sri Lanka for 6 months. And directly after I stayed here 3 months, like quarantine began, so I had to stay here, and it half was my plan and half was like just destiny.
yeah. And speaking of destiny, I came from Thailand and I normally spend all my winters in Thailand. And I ironically had a plane ticket to go to Ukraine, where Christina's from, to answer the next question.
Yeah, I'm from Ukraine.
Yes. Uh, and I was supposed to go to Ukraine, but it turns out Ukraine came to me. And the next big question everyone's asked is how we met. And it was in Aragon Bay. So not that long ago. This was what, May or June?
It was beginning of the June.
Yeah. So we met here in Sri Lanka, and that's why for everyone asking in my old videos, where's Christina? It's because we didn't meet yet.
Yeah. So actually, like it was lockdown, and then in the end of May and the beginning of June, everybody was moving from all the cities of Sri Lanka to Aragon Bay. And yeah, like I decided, okay, I was staying in Unavatuna, and it's already beginning raining season. So I decided, okay, like it's enough of Unavatuna. Now I want like some new period of life, and I decided to move to Aragon Bay. I took a car, moved to Aragon Bay just next day after the decision, and the very first day, actually, we met.
We happened to be both staying at Tropicana Homestay. I made a video about it, a video tour, and I had been staying there already a few weeks, and Christina moved in,
Yeah.
and we just started talking, and we started hanging out, and here we go. So perfect. Okay. So next question is, what languages do you speak besides English? And you're great Sinhalese as well.
Actually, like I'm from Ukraine, but I'm from Kharkiv, which is very close to Russia. So actually, a lot of people from Kharkiv speak Russian, and Russian is my native language. But as well, I can speak Ukrainian like freely. So Russian and Ukrainian and English.
Perfect.
Trying.
So how would you say hello to everybody in Sri Lanka in Ukrainian and in Russian?
Привет, Russian, and привет, Ukrainian.
Yeah. And the whole sentence? Hello to, like, hello, like, привет всем,
Привет всем ланкийцам.
привет всем ланкица. So, fun fact, and big thanks to our sponsor for this video, Rosetta Stone. I've actually first heard of Rosetta Stone and started using them more than 15, maybe even 20 years ago. I had Rosetta Stone, the
Really?
Spanish, on CD.
Oh, wow, it's so
Do you remember these? Yeah. When was the last time you even used a CD?
Oh my god, yeah, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah. So I had Rosetta Stone Spanish on these CDs, and it was kind of the tried and true language learning software that I had heard of since I was pretty young. So when I decided to learn Russian, I was very happy when Rosetta Stone reached out, and very happy to hear that and see that Rosetta Stone has updated everything off of the CDs. So everything's digital now, both as a smartphone app as well as a web app. I've been going through the web app, and it's very, very cool. That's a great way to learn a language to be able to communicate with your partner. So if I go to Ukraine, I can talk to her parents, which don't speak English, and it's kind of just a fun way to kind of get to know the culture a little bit more. So I heartily encourage everyone to learn another language. Rosetta Stone has a bunch of languages. So if I wanted to learn, or if you want to learn Spanish, French, Italian, or any of the other host of languages, or maybe even want to improve your English, you can use Rosetta Stone. And if you use my link below, there's a special offer just until November 30th. You can get Rosetta Stone Lifetime for just $189, and you get access to all the languages forever. So check them out in the link below.
So you have already tried Rosetta, yeah?
Yeah.
I heard it was very funny to hear Russian words.
Yeah. So
So
I
it was interesting, yeah?
yeah, I've already been going through the lessons here where we're staying. So it's been fun, and I can't wait for more. So up to our next question. So a big question a lot of Sri Lankans are asking is, what areas of Sri Lankan tourism need immediate attention before the Bureau needs to promote it? So basically, as a tourist, what do you think we should improve about Sri Lankan tourism industry?
So I guess like one thing, so actually like Sri Lanka is really a wonderful and beautiful country for tourism. So what I can tell is that there is some character of mentality, like take it easy. It's the word which I hear all the time from locals. So how it works? Sometimes it really works, and sometimes it's really like just like some, I don't know, like some borders, because like for example, when you go somewhere, people try to make their life a little bit more simple, to relax, not to provide super nice service. So they prefer to do something less quality and cheaper. Then to like work a little bit harder to provide really nice quality, to clean, for example, some very nice place, or like just to so they prefer not to work harder, but as a result, like they can work harder and earn more money. They can set more high prices, and people are ready like to pay for this. But the opposite.
I also agree. As much as I like getting a good deal or good value, I also prefer having good service and things being kind of as good as possible. So as tourists, we would prefer to pay a few hundred or a few thousand rupees more and have the service just a little bit higher, everything a little bit cleaner. Not that, most Sri Lanka is actually pretty clean, but I would say definitely service-wise, we don't mind paying a little bit more for a little bit better service. And in Colombo, you get it, but outside of Colombo, it's been hard to find.
Yeah, but people like usually very rare come to Colombo.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and a good example would be filling our cups of tea or water. In every restaurant outside of Colombo, I've never had a single waiter or waitress fill my water without me asking. And usually they won't even fill it the first time you ask. You have to ask 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and for example, if you are 2 at the table, if one person asks, they pour in your glass, and then they leave. And like even don't have time like to ask, oh, I'm sorry, I also need water. They don't even like look at it. So it's small details, but it's so like.
So like for example, let's say this was like, actually even halfway, right? Let's say she asked for water, they'll come and fill hers, but then they won't fill this one.
Yeah,
and it's like, come on, like you're already here, you already have it. Just fill this one while you're here, so I don't have to like waste my energy and time trying to get you to come back here in 2 minutes.
But we had it in Colombo. We had it in Marina Hotel.
In Colombo, service has
Marina
been
Beach.
fantastic, really up to the Western standards. So if you want to attract, it depends on what kind of tourists you want to attract. If you want to attract, just the like backpacker tourists that are paying the least amount possible, you don't need to provide any service. But if you want to, to attract the higher end tourists, the ones that will tip more or pay more, then these little things, it doesn't cost them any extra. It's just tap water anyways. And they're already walking here, so you might as well just have that training. So next question would be, this is very random. What do you think of the healthcare in Sri Lanka? have you had to go to any hospitals, or have you heard about anyone's approach to healthcare in Sri Lanka?
I haven't had any experience.
Yeah, we were very lucky we didn't need to go to the hospital, but I have heard from our friends who have been. I had a friend who got hit by a bus walking on the street here in the south. She was just walking on the side of the road. So I would say that's another thing that I would put on the list is the sidewalks in Sri Lanka are either missing or,
Yeah.
and especially on the beach road, people want to walk on the beach. It's nice.
Yeah, there is really like an issue. So if you don't have space for people who walk along the road, so they like usually they like, or it's very narrow. Yeah,
And because buses drive so fast and so crazy, she was just walking, and a bus hit her arm and broke her arm.
oh my god,
Completely broke the arm.
oh my god.
And the bus kept driving, so it was never reported. She couldn't like tell the license plate number or anything. So I would say that's the one really thing I hate about being in Sri Lanka is the traffic, especially the buses. But the good news
Crazy
is
buses.
she said she went to a government hospital. They fixed her arm, and I don't even know if they charged her. I think she ended up just donating some money. But the healthcare actually, she said, was pretty good, surprisingly good. Next question is one that people keep asking. What are our plans for after Sri Lanka, and when do we plan on leaving?
So I really miss in Ukraine. Like I'm missing my family, and I'm hoping that we can go there because, like, actually, like it was Johnny's plan to go to Ukraine anyway, and I also want to go there for a few months. So I'm hoping that we would be able to go there, like maybe in April, in May, because I feel that maybe when it will be warmer, the situation with quarantine in all the world will be much better, like after this winter. And I guess so maybe in April. So when,
Fingers crossed.
yeah. So when it will be possible, when all the situation will be better in all the world, we will go. But now Sri Lanka is the most safety country in the world, and we would like to stay here.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate that we are here in Sri Lanka, and we're one of the few tourists that are here still. Because no new tourists can come in. So I would feel silly and almost stupid if we left. Because sometimes, honestly, it's tempting to be like, oh, Mexico is open?
Yeah, we were thinking
You know,
of it.
we can go there, or Turkey is open, we can go there. But we might enjoy it for a month, and then we might think, oh, why did we leave Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka was so safe, everything was open, the weather is good, everything's discounted because there's no tourists here, it's quiet, it's peaceful. So I'm going to stay as long as we're allowed to stay, number one. So hopefully the visas, they let us extend for past a year. Please, please, please. Somebody's from the immigration department. Please extend our visas past a year or allow us to extend it. And then second, we'll stay as long as we're happy. So overall, we're happy. I mean, obviously we missed our family. We missed food. It would be fun to be able to travel and see another country. But overall, we're happy, so we're going to stay as long as that is. Who knows? That might be 2 months. That might be 4 months. But hopefully, that'll be like, end
maybe
of...
6 more months.
Yeah, end of March, April, something like that. We'll see. All right, so next question is from Sonny. He asked me 3 questions. One is about Muay Thai and why I left. Just because I got tired of getting punched in the face. But it was fun. I'm glad I did it for all those years. And these are for the people who've watched back in my YouTube channel from like 10 years ago. It used to be about Muay Thai fighting, scuba diving, and then travel. The second is, or the third question is, do I think the digital nomad lifestyle will continue after all this, and how long will that go for? So Christina's actually kind of a digital nomad herself. That's a question that a lot of people have been asking, is what she does.
So I'm graphic designer and I'm working online. So I started to travel like 3 years ago, and Sri Lanka my first Asian country. So before I was traveling to Europe like for a month, like 2-3 times per year, and then we're coming back to Ukraine. And then I felt that like 1 month it's still like very little, and truly like Europe more expensive than Asia, and it's more possibilities to stay in Asia longer, like for half of the year. So I decided to go for half of the year to Asia. And first my country was in my plan Sri Lanka, and then to explore other countries. So, but as I told, I luckily stuck here.
So, but do you think that this working online will continue even after this kind of COVID thing?
I guess like working online will be even like more after this.
Yeah.
It's for sure. Like, and about digital nomad style, I don't know. I'm not sure about like. I'm pretty sure that we will still be traveling. Maybe it will be little bit something different, but I'm pretty sure that it will be even more after all these times, because now people should to stay at home.
Yeah.
So people now are like watching for more ways to work online. So even now it's even more popular than before.
My prediction is people will continue to work and travel abroad, but instead of moving every 2 weeks, which I thought was too fast anyways,
Yeah.
I don't think that's being a digital nomad if you're never settling down and working.
Yeah, you can't understand the country during 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're not really even traveling, and you're not even really working. You're kind of just a backpacker trying to check off,
Yeah.
this. And this is what I never liked about most travel bloggers, and even YouTubers, is they go to a country for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and they film a bunch of stuff, and then they leave to the next country. And I'm like, what did you even see? Like, do you even remember like what you saw? Did you learn anything about the culture? And did you even really do any work? So for me, for the last 10 years, I've really preached slow travel, staying in places for 2 or 3 months at a time, and then moving. And now with the travel restrictions, I think what's going to happen is people are going to go places for 3 or 6 months, or maybe even 6 to 12 months at a time. So they'll work and travel, but instead of moving around so fast, they'll go somewhere and just take their time, which I think is actually better. So this question, I think it's going to be kind of a fine line, so we've got to be a bit careful what we say. But someone asks, as tourists, what would you suggest to the public of Sri Lanka when it comes to treating or behaving with foreigners as locals? So, like, is there anything that locals do that we think is either rude or we don't like as a tourist?
So in general, I really love how locals treat tourists. They always treat like with respect, and they're very welcoming. But there is one thing which like really like it's funny thing, but I don't like it. It's that what I see is that locals don't like to tell no, and they're afraid to accept no. So usually that is why this gesture, hari hari, yeah. So it's like definitely like it means like okay, but maybe not okay. Like something I feel it's like this. So usually when you're asking for something, always Sri Lankans tell that yes, I will do it, and then you can wait for a very long time and you understand that they will not do it. And also when you tell to someone no, like they don't understand, they don't want to hear that you told no. It's nothing rude, but sometimes you can tell yes, sometimes you can tell no. So in spite of like okay, no, they never hear it. They insist again and again.
Yeah, I've experienced the same thing, and I mean, it could be as something as small as I'll ask, do you have chicken biryani? And they're like, yeah, of course, sit down. And I'll go and sit down, and then I'm like, okay, I'll have 1 chicken biryani, please. And they're like, oh. They're like, wait here. And then I'll wait 10 minutes. I'm like, so do you have chicken biryani? And they're like, oh, we don't have chicken biryani. I'm like, okay. why did you have me sit down?
Yeah.
And I mean, part of it is, they want your business even if they can't provide the service, which I understand, people want to earn money, but at the same time, I'm like, why did you waste 10 minutes of my time telling me yes, you have it when you don't? Like, you just, like, I'll just go next door. And it's the same with,
and maybe
so many
next
things.
time we would come to this place because we know that they have something different. But after this experience, you don't want to come back.
Or they can even say, no, we don't have chicken biryani, but we have this great fish
Yeah.
kotu or something, and maybe I'll be like, oh, actually, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Maybe not fish kodu for me, but like they might say, yeah, we have they can just suggest what they do have, and it's not just with food; it's like everything.
Yes. Yes, and what I can tell, it's also about like co-working. So when I was working with locals, it was really like big issue so usually when you work on some graphic design, it's very normal when you ask for some, like when the client asks you to make some changes, some proofs, it's absolutely natural. But like Sri Lankans were so afraid to tell you, to ask you to do even small change, that I had to wait maybe 1 week, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, like when this person will be ready to tell me, or I want to like this change. So for me, it's not a problem to make this change. But during all these 2-3 weeks, and I think it's something really catastrophic, awful, that maybe they decided to stop co-working with me, and they don't answer. Like, so this like to be silent, not to tell you openly, like it makes you really stressful.
Yeah. So there's so many cultural differences between Sri Lankans and the Russians or the Ukrainians and Americans. We can make a whole separate video about that. So if you're interested, leave a comment below and ask any other questions. Maybe we'll make a part 2 with just about the cultural differences.
Yeah, like thematic videos.
Yeah. But I would say as a tourist, the number one thing that drives us crazy is honking at us. Because in our countries, you only honk for emergency, like something's, like be careful, beep, beep, right? Or they're mad at you, get out of the way. In Sri Lanka, people honk for everything.
Like for fun.
For fun. For like, hi. Like, hello. I'm like, why did you honk at me? There's nobody on this road. I'm already walking on the very side. I'm not in your way.
Yeah,
like,
so honking usually to give you some special signal, but now you don't understand what does it mean.
So the problem with it, and if you're Sri Lankan, you might not understand. You're like, what's a big deal? We're just saying hello. There's no bad intention, and I understand that. But for 30, 40 years of conditioning of honking is a negative thing, we cannot relax when we're walking on the street and someone's honking at us. Imagine for 40 years or 30 years of your life, you associate a noise with danger or rudeness, and now everyone's doing it to you. It's just hard for us to relax. So that's the one thing I would ask. Please stop honking at us, especially for no reason. This music in the background is so funny. I think it's a bread truck.
Yeah.
But
bread tuk-tuk.
yeah, I don't mind
lovely.
it so much. Yeah.
No, actually it's very lovely, I guess.
But one thing that really drove me crazy is I was living somewhere in Religama, right near the main road, and a bread truck or ice cream truck or something would park right in front of my house for like 5 hours at a time and playing this music.
No.
And
But you're lucky, you had ice cream all the time.
Oh, and it like, if they're driving by,
relax,
if they're driving by, I don't mind, you need to get people's attention. But if you're just parked there for 5 hours, like turn off the music. Like people see that you're there, So the music and the loud noises, the honking, the yelling, the loud music, that's always drove me crazy. But another question people have is, what were your expectations about Sri Lanka before you arrived? And how is it different than what you saw here?
So I read that Sri Lankans are really very friendly people and honest, and this is safety country. So it was important for me because before I was traveling in Europe, and Europe, like for single girls, is like quite safety. The one thing that for all the tourists, you need to watch your stuff. Is this on the things? So I was a little bit worried about Asia, and what I read about Sri Lanka, that it's really very safety country. That is definitely like this.
Yeah. I had not heard anything about Sri Lanka's safety. I thought it would be like Bali, but it turns out Sri Lanka is actually way more safe than Bali, which is very nice. So thank you for that. Other things I was surprised about, I assumed Sri Lanka would be a little bit similar to Nepal or India in terms of like cleanliness, hygiene, but Sri Lanka is way cleaner. I think everyone here washes their hands really well. There's very little garbage on the streets. So very, very, very happy to see like nature being like, it's not perfect. There's still some plastic wrappers everywhere sometimes, but it's not like Bali or Nepal or India where it's everywhere. So big good job on that. And also, I never get sick from the food here, even street food.
Yeah, like we eating in so like local little cafes and restaurants but without any like we are not scared at all.
Yeah.
Like to
So
sit there.
safety has been like really good, and hygiene has been really good in Sri Lanka. So, Law asks, how do you travel so much in spite of the virus? Are these videos taken earlier?
So like yeah, it was made earlier, but also like even so in October it started like the second wave, yes, and a lot of videos which we made in September and then they were published in October. And people started to comment like be careful how you can move, just because it was in September.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people don't realize that YouTube isn't live, and even though we try to document kind of our normal life, and we try to keep it up to date, like ideally, I would film and we publish the video the same week. That way, it's kind of fresh. But at the same time, it's hard to do sometimes because we're traveling a lot.
Work.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work, and then uploading takes a long time. And some places in Sri Lanka doesn't have very good internet.
And for example, when we have very active day, so we make you make usually these videos like 2 videos of this place. So it's really like just impossible to publish everything at once or like in very fast. So that is why we have this queue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like because it's difficult to make it in another way.
And the thing is, most like if this was a movie, it would be 1 or 2 years from when they filmed it until when it's edited and published in a movie theater. TV, usually it's about 6 months to a year later, then you actually see it. So YouTube is much faster, but still it's probably 2-3 weeks, I don't want to say old, but that's the amount of time it takes. So when you see us, in Colombo eating at restaurants and you're like, how's it open? This is, this weekend was locked down or, something was closed. It's because it didn't happen the day before. So in general, it's about 2 or 3 weeks before. Sometimes maybe even longer. Sometimes we move things around. They're not live. And what we did was we saw the writing on the wall and we left Colombo a few weeks before there was any kind of lockdown. So basically, as soon as we had saw the Brandex cluster have a second wave, even though it didn't get to Colombo yet, we already left. We're like, this is probably gonna go to Colombo, so let's go to Nurelia, and we stayed there for 3 weeks, almost a month actually.
Yeah, and so there we could go out, but just like for a walk, and you can see that there are like mainly home videos.
Yeah.
So
this is a good one. If someone asks your honest opinion about visiting Sri Lanka, so a friend from back home or something, they ask, what is your honest opinion about visiting Sri Lanka? What would you say?
I guess it's what we have already told before. So honest opinion, it's really very beautiful country, amazing country, with so different climate, different nature, very welcoming people. But also, so it always, each country, it has its benefits and some places which they need to work on. So it's some local mentality. I guess.
Yeah, for me, I've been to a lot of countries, and I really like Sri Lanka. I think for me, it's one of my favorite places to be. But if someone asks me, should I go to Sri Lanka or should I go to Thailand or should I go to Europe, I would ask them what are they looking for? What do they expect? What do they want? If they want fast, unlimited internet and everything to work well, I wouldn't come to Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, that's a big downside, is even though Wi-Fi sometimes works really well, and in Colombo it works really good,
Something happens.
In pretty much the rest of the country, it's it's usable. You can figure out ways to get around it, but it's like a daily stress of having enough internet to to work or upload videos or download things. So I would say that's one of the biggest downsides of Sri Lanka right now. I normally sum it up as Sri Lanka is like traveling to Southeast Asia 10 or 20 years ago. So
so very authentic.
very authentic.
Authentic.
Yeah, authentic.
I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
In Russian, authentic.
Authentic, yeah. It's very authentic. But it's very authentic, not over touristed. A lot of untouched nature and beauty.
Yeah, it's what I like. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That actually, like Sri Lanka, except in Colombo, it's like one big village in the very best meaning of this word. That I really love it. So you still have like the cities, but you everywhere feel that you're among nature.
Yeah.
So for big nature lovers, it's amazing.
It's fantastic. So yeah, tons of amazing things in Sri Lanka.
What? I just want okay. I just wanted to add that actually about authentic Sri Lanka, that I haven't been to Bali or other Asian countries, but what I can see is that you really can experience here local life. You can see this local life, true local life. So it's not just a show which we can see how locals live here. I guess that in many countries of Asia, they try to show their like authentic life, but it's more like show for tourists.
Yeah.
But here, if you go to the local place, it's really a local place where local eat. Like so, if you go to some small village and you see village life, it's real. That's village life.
Yeah. The problem with Bali is there is no local jobs besides tourism. There's very little normal life if it wasn't for tourists, and that's why they got hit so hard when the lockdown happened, and that's why so many people started robbing like villas and houses in Bali, or robbing people because they're really desperate because they got so used to having all this money from tourism, and when it was gone they're like, all right, well, let's just become criminals. Luckily that didn't happen at all in Sri Lanka, and a lot of it is because even though Sri Lanka, tourism is a big part of Sri Lanka's economy and it helps a lot of people, it's still a very small percentage of the total GDP of Sri Lanka. So even if there's no tourists here, normal life would go on. People would still have normal jobs, produce things for other Sri Lankans or for export. So yeah.
And for example, if you go in Bali, so I know that in Bali there are a lot of very modern cafes in very European American style. So it's very comfortable, it's very nice, it's very beautiful and stylish, but it's not authentic. So
Bali is the fakest place in the world, guys. Like if you look at hashtag Bali, all those photos are so posed.
Yeah, like Instagram, it's Instagram
it's so
country.
Fake. Like it's so fake. Like there's like when you see like even on the rice fields here, when you see us in the rice fields, even when we were like showering this beautiful outdoor water place in the rice field, locals use it, and it wasn't even on Google Maps. It was like not a tourist attraction. It's just something that people still use for thousands of years now.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. In Bali, I guarantee you that would be a tourist attraction where they would charge entrance. There'd be someone there like selling tickets and be like, okay, go take your Instagram selfie,
Yes, so like my big wish about Sri Lanka that yes, it's nice for country to develop tourism, but preserving all this like your like authentic experience life, like saving it. Like Sri Lanka, it's quite conservative country, and as well it has its pluses and minuses, but what about history, culture? It's better to save it, like to develop, but saving this like your rich culture.
Yeah, I really love it. Next question that many people asked, do you have a kid? You're beautiful. Do you have kids?
No, I don't have kids.
I don't have any kids
I am
either.
just 27.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of girls in Ukraine have kids at this age. Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, no kids, no plans anytime soon. John Phillip, who's probably a digital nomad, asks, how is the infrastructure there for remote work? Wi-Fi speed, reliability, best way to get around, ride apps, eating, stuff like that. So we mentioned it earlier. Wi-Fi is actually pretty fast sometimes, but it's not unlimited, which is insane, even for hotels or for your house Wi-Fi. I'm okay that my cell phone Wi-Fi isn't unlimited. That's fine. Or my cell phone 4G isn't unlimited. But Dialogue, Sri Lanka, Telecom, whatever, please start making unlimited, truly unlimited house and commercial Wi-Fi, because that is holding your country back from innovation and from people coming here to work online or even do Skype calls while they're here in Sri Lanka. As far as apps for like food delivery or rides like Uber, luckily they have Uber, they have Uber Eats, they have Pick Me. They're fantastic, but only in Colombo. Outside of Colombo, it sucks. Like sometimes you have it here and there, but it's really just Colombo. I wish it would go to the south and to the other parts of the island. All right. So the last big question that everyone keeps asking us, and we always just ignore, is when are you two going to get married, and are you going to have a Sri Lankan wedding?
I don't know what to answer.
Don't ask me, guys. It's been too soon. So, guys, thank you for all the questions. Leave a comment below if you have any other questions, especially about like culture-wise. Oh shit! Why did I just close this? So that's it, guys. Leave a comment below if you have any other questions, especially culture-wise, because we would love to do another video about cultural differences between Sri Lanka, and maybe actually a tourism video as well. Maybe, you know, because I want to do like a Dear Sri Lankan Tourism video. I've already chatted with the tourism bureau guys, but I think there's a lot to do and change about tourism when it opens back up here. Christina, any final words that you want to give everyone?
So thank you so much for your questions. Yeah, and yes, if you have some more questions, we would love to make another video. So like tell your comments if you like such format of the video, so we could understand what we can do.
Leave a comment below, hit the like button if you liked it, share it with a friend, and thank you to Rosetta Stone for sponsoring this video. Spasiba, Diakuyu, I don't know, Mercy, Salu, I don't know, whatever. All those things. Gracias. Bohoma Stuti, Nanjuri, Sheshe, Doja, all that stuff. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
That was fun.
Yeah.
By the way, for all those people that probably are laughing, I am grandma, which is babushka in Russian.
Okay, it's sister. So it's
Sistra.
boring. We have grandpa Mark. I should have taken it.
And
so funny.
Christina's not my sister.
Yeah, if it's not obvious, better to
Better
mention.
to say.